Okay, am I going? Streaming. Oh. Hey everybody. Apparently I started streaming while I was still organizing. I was having trouble getting my my camera to turn on, so I was a little bit late today, so I apologize for that. And I also spent an hour running around looking for the elastic that I had with the built-in drawstring, and I couldn't find that. So I'm not as organized as I had hoped. However, I am excited because I've set up my double-face linen knit shorts to work on today. Hey Diane, hey Bettina, welcome ladies. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to be working with this pattern today. My, well, maybe I should show it to you like this. This is my pull-on knit pants or shorts pattern. So this is what I'm working with today. And I'll have you know that I actually fit them using a single leg and my stretchy waistband, which I have somewhere on this table, but I just want to remind everybody, if you're fitting pants or shorts and you make a separate pants fitting waistband and you cut out one leg with extra allowances, it's very quick and easy to fit knit pants and shorts. So I very quickly made a few minor adjustments, and then I trimmed off my extra seam allowances, and I have everything cut out and ready to go. Oh, Diane says she loves this pattern. Yep, if you're looking for a really nice basic pull-on knit pants pattern that's not leggings, this is a good one. So I'm happy that Diane likes it. Hey Judy, hey Linda Lee, I'm glad you're here too. I do want to take this opportunity to tell people that I have 2 spaces left for my efficient workflow for bodice class. I'm teaching the next 3 Saturdays from 1 to 5, and I've made really good results. I've already taught this in April, and we got really good results with the students in the class. And I've also made some more improvements, and specifically one of the improvements I made was based on working with one of the students who had prominent shoulder blades. I'm kicking that up to the blue zone, and if people have prominent shoulder blades, we're going to be adjusting those in the blue zone at the beginning, because adding a back shoulder dart really helps to create shape for prominent shoulder blades. And then there's another little adjustment you can do as well. So anyway, there are 2 spaces left in that. If you head over to jsterndesigns.com and just search for efficient workflow for bodice fitting, that's in there if anybody's interested. And I know we did the welt pockets last week, but we're going to do them for real on a real garment this week. And after much deliberating, I've decided not to put these pockets in the horizontal vertical position, because when you pull on the shorts, they spread open. So I can get this to lay nice and flat, but then the minute I pull on it, see what it does is it gaps like that, and I do not want that on the front of my shorts. Also, I am not a fan of front pockets anyway, so I'm going to put 2 welts in the back. So I'm going to show you how to do that today on my actual shorts, and then I'm going to talk about some ways that I'm going to make the double-sided show on the blue side, because I have orange on one side and I have the blue on the outside. So basically what I want to do here is, let me see, Victoria's saying, just joining. I was in the process of block fusing my interfacing to my fabric. I'm getting ready to make my real bootstrap pants form. Ooh, I'm excited to hear how that goes, Victoria. I am so tempted to get one of those. And I may still do that, but it is fascinating to me. So I'm dying to see how yours comes out. So definitely keep me posted on that. Speaking of, well, not fusing per se, but I was doing some ironing, and I was using my wonderful Material Magic, okay, to make my silk charmeuse I'm going to use for my pocket bags in my shorts, nice and firm so it wouldn't shift around. And I'll tell you that using a silk organza pressing cloth makes a huge difference. I wanted to get as much of this done before I came on as possible, so I've already done it. But what I want to explain to you is, if you're wetting a fabric like silk charmeuse and you're laying it on a pressing surface to iron, the minute you put your iron on it, it's going to stick to the wet surface. So having this very sheer see-through silk organza makes the perfect press cloth for this. I used it a couple times. I used it to to stiffen some other silk organza to make an opening in the back of one of my mom's dresses. And I've come up with a new way to do that, and I may share that with you at some point. Actually, remember when I was working on that blue and white floral dress for my mother? Well, it fit her beautifully. Well, guess what? The laundry service lost it, so it's gone. So I've ordered the exact dress again, and I'm going to remake the back neckline opening and close up the front. And I'm going to use a different method of finishing that, which I like a lot better, and I'll share that with you on another day. Anyway, so that's all my little housekeeping. So I highly recommend silk organza as a press cloth. It's very, very good for, especially if you're wetting your fabric and you have to dry it with the iron. It keeps it from grabbing onto the sole plate of your iron. All right, let's look and see. I'm going to switch us back to here. I want to show you what we're doing. I've got my shorts all cut out, and I've also cut off my extra allowances. Let me just make this a little bigger so you can see. So I've got them all set, and what I did was, here are my back pieces, and you can see I've already planned the windows for the back welts. And now you might be wondering why it's this far from the waistline edge. The reason why it's that far is this folds to be a self-faced elastic waist, and then I just wanted a little bit of space between the bottom of the waistband and the welt. So I centered these welts on both back legs, one for each back leg. I'm going to make it a little bit narrower than my other ones. This is just going to be a 1/2 inch. So I cut my welt to be a 1/2 plus 1/4, so 3/4 inches. So once I sew it to that seam allowance, it will fit nicely. And then I'll have a peak of orange on the right side of my short. So I am excited about that. You know, because this is double faced, it is a little bit thick. I did fuse the very sheer interfacing onto the welts. So I have my welts cut out and ready to go. And the last thing I have to do is decide about my pockets. Now, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to catch the top of, let me push this back a little bit. Is that really nice and, I want to make sure that's nice and crisp. Yeah, that looks nice and crisp. All right, I want to be able to catch the top of my waistband into my, what am I saying? I want to be able to catch the top of my pocket bag into here, but what's distracting me is this line I drew here really needs to be on the actual pocket bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one here, and I'm going to put new interfacing on the actual pocket bag, because remember, we have to sew it from the right side and push it to the wrong side. So I stuck these on to the wrong place. However, I think I'm going to leave this here because then it will be interfaced. So I'm not going to put the interfacing on the pocket bag itself. And actually, because I'm using this very thin silk, I can see through to my line. Oh, but I won't though, because it's going to be on the other side. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to measure. Look, I was feeling so professional that I got all this done and I drew on the wrong interfacing. All right, so I'm going to make my pocket bag that's going to be attached to the lower section of this. It's going to be, I'm going to go up a quarter because there's a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, right? Let's make it 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make it 5 inches deep, and let's make it 6.5 wide. So 5 inches deep, because that'll bring me down to here. 6 inches wide, and then the upper one is going to get caught up here in the waistband allowance. So this one is going to be, if I make this 5 inches, which puts me, let's just make a line for 5 inches. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing here. Hold on. I want you to see what I'm doing. All right. So this one's going to be 5 inches. So I'm just going to draw myself a line. So approximately here, right? That's going to be the base of my pockets. So the back one is going to be 6 3/4. So it'll line up as well. Hey, Andrea, welcome. It's okay that you're late. I'm working with the double-faced linen knit to work on these shorts now, and I'm making the pocket pieces. So what I need to do here is that I need to cut 2 pieces, and I'm going to use my torn top edge here to keep this even. I am going to make let's see, we're going to make it, I'm going to cut it off here. Oh, and if you missed it, these titanium blades for Cool Tools this week, I am absolutely in love. I have never had better rotary cutting blades. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, I said. So let's just get this to be 6.5. Okay, and then let's make it 5 inches long. These are going to be my lower pocket bags. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 inches. I'm not going to really put anything in these pockets. Let me make it 6 inches. I'm going to go 1 more inch just in case I want to use it. Let's do 6 inches. So those are going to be my pocket bags for the lower part of the welt. Then I'm going to cut myself a second set. And let's just remind ourselves what that's going to be. It was going to be 6.5. So I'm going to make it 7.5 because I'm making it 1 inch bigger. Just make this one. Okay. So again, I'm just going to cut this off here. See how nice these rotary cutter blades work? They work really, really nice. All right, so I made this one 6.5 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. wide. Save all these silk scraps. I don't know, maybe I'll think of something I can do with those. And then I'm going to make this one 7.5 long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. 7.5. Like this. All right, so now I've got my pocket bags. And I think the first thing I need to do, maybe I'll just use a triple zigzag to sew those shut. I don't want to drag out my serger. Okay. So now let's see what we have to do to fix our okay, these are going to be my pocket pieces, and I'm just going to put those aside for now. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to measure. I already drew the lines that match the lines that I drew in the back here, and I'm finding the center of this line, which is here. So I'm just going to draw myself a long line right here. Now, why am I drawing a long line? Because I have to put my pocket piece over it. Well, no, before I have to do that, I'm gonna stitch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the same line I have on the other side. I'm gonna draw it on this side. So we're gonna go with, I'm making a 5-inch opening. So that's 5 inches. Let's just verify. Yep, and then I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch thick. Like this. All right, so that's going to be my pocket opening right there. Okay, and all right, Mary's saying, finally can sit down. I was cutting rhubarb in the kitchen, won't mess with my phone in there. I was listening. Oh, thank you, thank you. And oh, Bettina's asking me if I could have just done the whole pocket bag on the fold. You know what? I totally could have just done it on the fold. But that ship is now sailed because I've cut the pieces out. So Bettina's asking about the pocket being on the fold. Absolutely yes. So what she means is I could have just made each pocket bag. I could have just made each pocket bag this long, and then I could have folded it up. But I'm gonna do it in 2 pieces because I've already done that. So yes, Bettina, you get a gold star. Victoria says, I have to finish watching this later. However, I want to say a big thank you for referring me the other day to the video of yours removing ease on the pants. It was so informative and helpful. You're very welcome, Victoria. Thank you for checking in and, you know, watching while you can. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to make a like line on this one as well, my other leg, and then I'm gonna sew. Now remember, I've made my I put my interfacing on this side. Oh, I am such a ding dong. I am so sorry, everybody. I can have it on here because I am not. Okay, so here's where I'm confusing myself all over the map today. All right, so let's remind ourselves what we're doing. Normally, if you're going to be, you know, you're going to put the lines on this side and push them through. If you sew these while you're sewing around your window, right? But we're not sewing around the window. We're just sewing around the window. So actually, silly me, this is going to work out just fine because I'm sewing it and then I'm going to sew the pocket pieces to the seam allowances. So see, even though I'm practicing these welt pockets, this is only my like third time doing this welt pocket. And in my head, it's still mixing in with, you know, how I used to do it the other way. So let's just get going on this first step here. All right, let me slide this over. All right, so this was really the biggest, improvement to my process, was having the ability to make the window, cut it open, and then sew the allowances to the actual seam allowances versus trying to sew everything on in one time and then clip. So I'm going to start here, and my stitch length is relatively short. It's 2.4. I'm just going to very carefully follow my line. When I get to the corner, I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to count my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go 6. Then I'm going to lift and go 1. Oh, I don't have to count these. Hold on. Okay, now as I come to the end here, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to connect in the middle. Let me just trim this little tail. Okay. All right, so in the idea of being in the zone, I'm going to do each step twice. All right, again, we're going to count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm gonna okay. Now the next step is I am going to, just to make it nice and clear so I don't screw anything up, I'm going to draw my cutting line first. So I'm going to go right down the center, 1/4 inch. And I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch on each edge for the triangle. So I'm only going to go from, from here to there. So from here to here, and then I'll go into the corners like that. Okay. Oops, that looks a little, maybe down here. I want nice long triangles. All right, so now that I made a line, I can use my super sharp rotary cutter to cut along that line. I'm going to do this one. I feel like I want to just keep making welts until I can make welts in my sleep. When I first started sewing, it was invisible zippers that gave me nightmares. And then I conquered that, and now I think welts are my new nemesis that I really want to become like a pro at. All right, so see, I'm getting right there. And on this one, I'm going to get right there, really close. See, if I had sewn the pocket pieces to the fabric first and pushed it through, all of that would be in my way and I wouldn't be able to see into these points like I can see now. See, I am right there, like literally right there. All right, so now I'm going to get my ironing thing, my pressing surface, and I'm going to press these seam allowances and triangles. See, again, I'm right there, see? All right, let's get, I'm going to use a double layer of my Aliso pressing, wool pressing cubes here. All right, so now let's make this a little bit bigger maybe. There we go. All right, so see, this is me now cutting through my 20-something a yard fabric. Now when I press this, I want to make sure that I can see the stitching on the wrong side. Let me turn it this way so you can see. Okay, so I'm making sure. And then the other thing is, see right here, like I'm not quite, I wasn't quite able to press that all the way, so I'm going to clip it even a little bit deeper, like another string worth width, so I can get that all the way turned. And the one thing I'm a little worried about here is I'm going to have 6 layers of this knit on the bottom of my pocket. I hope that's not going to be too heavy. That's why I picked the silk organza. I mean, I'm sorry, the silk charmeuse for the pocket bag pieces. I hope it's going to be okay. All right, and then I need to press my triangles back as well. Okay. All right, let me just give this one a quick press, and then I'm gonna sew the pocket bag onto the lower, the welt and the pocket bag onto the lower piece. And again, I'm just looking for my stay stitching, so I can, if I can see it on the inside of my pocket, that's a good sign. Oh, you bought the Aliso M3? Oh, I love that. It's a mini. I know. I will be getting one of those very soon. Bettina's talking about Alysso makes a mini project iron, and the new mini project iron has a little light in the front so you can really see what you're ironing. I think I'm lucky I have these studio lights that are very bright. What color did you get, Bettina? They come in a bunch of colors, just like their big irons do. All right, let's see here. All right, so I'm just going to see how my, I want to verify that the outside of my window looks lovely. And I'm going to use my little point turner to press all these things. Okay, let's just see. I just want to give this a nice press from this side too, just to make sure it has a nice shape. Oh, you got the turquoise blue one? That's a pretty color. Let me just... I'm not really worried about the lower edge because I am going to be sewing more to it, but I just want to make sure my openings are good. Okay. All right, so I've got my 2 openings now. And oh, there's a special edition from Tula. Ugh, so cool. Maybe someday there'll be a special J. Stern Designs edition. Someday. All right, so let's look at what we're doing here now. Obviously, we want to be able to sew our welt to this lower piece, right? So I'm going to line my welt up like this. That is really thick. And on top of the welt, I'm going to put my short pocket. So I've got my short pocket piece is also going to get lined up here like this. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that all 3 of these layers are together. So actually there's 4 layers because there's 2 layers to the welts and there's one layer to the pocket opening and then 1 layer of pocketing fabric. So I'm going to make sure I get all of those exactly even. Oh, thank you, Bettina. Someday I have big dreams for myself, you know. Ugh. All right, I'm getting there, I think. All right. Now see, this is where I'm going to be able to sew right into that corner. So see the corner right there? I'm going to be able to get right in there. They sold out in a moment. I bet they did. All right. I was so excited when I saw Mimi G get a special edition of the big iron. I thought that was very cool. All right, let's get this. Now see, I'm being careful lining this up. This is important. I want everything to be lined up here like this. And I've got contrasting colors here between the white interfacing and the orange, so you'll be able to see the end clearly. So I've got that one set up, and again, just to keep my process flowing here, I'm going to do this one as well. My Welt and my pocket bag. Like this. I have to admit, I'm really, really happy with this now that I'm not trying to sew them on and then trim them or cut into the corners. This does make my heart happy because I can really see what I'm doing. I think seeing what you're doing is half the battle. If you can see what you're doing, then it makes it easier to do it, obviously. I know that's obvious when I say it, but a lot of times some sewing techniques are more complicated because it's hard to see what you're doing. So this makes it really easy to see what you're doing. All right. Okay, so I've got these pinned on nicely. All my edges are nice and even. Okay, now we're going to sew this on. And when I sew it on, I'm going to sew just inside the first sewing line. And I've got my little pointer here. I want to make sure I can get right to it. Right here. All right, so I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take a few stitches forward. And then I'm going to back tack, and then I'm literally stitching right below my first stitching line. So I'm going to, you know, keep that row of stitching from actually showing. And you can probably count the number of times that you see me sew this slow on one hand. I'm taking my time. Because sometimes taking your time actually saves you time. Have you ever heard that? I have to remind myself of that on the regular. Taking time saves time. All right, I'm going to turn it around and look at my other end. I want to make sure. Oh, I did get all the way there. See, I just wanted to make sure I did, and I did. All right, so I did that one. Now let's do this one. All right. Okay, let's turn this around and see what we get. I'm excited. I think this is going to be good. See, I made this narrower. So you can see already that that's going to work out nicely, I think. Let me make it a little brighter. Hold on, sorry. I want you to be able to see there. All right, see, with no pressing, that's how we're looking. But before we press, what we're going to do one more step here. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to sew my Oh, here, this is a boo-boo right here. Let me fix that. Everything was going very smoothly, and then my lining, my pocket piece slipped a little, so let me just see if I can put that back up. I don't have to take it out very far. Literally just like to there. Let me try that one more time. It needs to stay even. This edge needs to stay even with this edge. Oh, and now, let me make that so it's sharp. Okay. Let me fix that. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to sew. And I'm going to sew it onto this pocket bag too. We're going to stitch just inside the stitching on the end to hold these triangles down. And then I think I'm going to come over here and stitch it here too. So I stitched it twice. Let me do this one. Okay, now we got to get this one. Oops, a minute. Let me push this back and then open it like this. Okay, so I'm going to lay all this nice and flat. And again, I'm going to stitch All right, let's look at this one before I do the other one to make sure I didn't screw anything up here. All right, so you can see that stitching it right up against the, right on the inside of the lining makes a very nice end. See how nice that is? Now, this is still loose, but I'm gonna sew that, I'm gonna tack that after, but we can see that if this were pressed secured, which it will be, I think that's a pretty nice looking welt pocket. So I'm kind of happy with that. Yay. So let me just do the other one. And then we'll give these a nice little press. So again, I'm going to just stitch my little triangle down. All right, and then let's do this one. It's interesting. One of them just lays nice for me, and the other one gives me agita a little bit. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Ready? Okay. All right, now I'm going to get my little pressing things back. Uh-oh. I caught something extra on this side. Let me see what I did. Oh, I caught the... See what I did? I caught that right there. Dummy. Let me just fix that. You don't want to catch... You don't want to catch that. No, I don't want to try to take it out. All right, so the danger here is knits are very easy to catch if you're taking out stitching, and you don't want to make a hole in... You don't want to make a hole. Let me see if I can just take this top part out here. Oops. I think that's the thread. Yep. All right, so it's not foolproof, but it is easier. I'm still going to maintain it's easier, but I definitely caught that. So you got to be careful. I just don't want to make a hole in my knit, so I'm trying to be really careful here. All right, let's see. Oh, I did it to both sides on this one. Ugh, let me just see if this one came out. All right, I didn't do that trauma to this one. Let's fix this one, and then I'll go back and fix that other one later. That's annoying. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is press. Oh, you know what it is? All right. So I shouldn't have caught the lining. So bad, Jennifer. That's part of my issue. I should not have caught the lining. The lining is going down, not up. So everybody make a note. The welt goes up, the pocket bag goes down. So I can't catch the pocket bag in the stitching when I sew the triangles down. So make a note, or else you're going to be a ding-dong like me. Here, let me just get rid of that. Honestly. All right, that's my issue. See, I thought I had it perfectly. I thought I had it perfectly figured out, and no, I don't. Okay. Oh, and of course I had to sew them twice. Oops. All right, do not catch the pocket bag when you're sewing down your triangles. Cardinal rule. All right. Okay, so let me just see if I can press this without those triangles. This is turning into a hot mess. I thought I was going to have like a flawless presentation for you guys today. So all of this is going to get pressed down, and this is going to get pressed up like this. Ooh, that's a little bit too late. All right. So this is going to be pressed down. Now all of these marks that you see on the silk are going to wash out after, you know, when they go in the wash, they're going to wash out because that's from the, that is from the Material Magic. But you can see after I freed my lining, you can see that that's going to be a very nice welt once I take care of this little doodah here, once I sew that part down. All right, so I've got that all set. And I think what I'm going to do, all right, so my triangles are still nice and pointed out. Let's see if I can quickly rehab this one now that I realize that I shouldn't have sewed through all of this. Let me just take out the stitching. I want to say I love welt pockets, but I don't love them right now. I really want to make... I'm going to come up with the foolproof way of sewing these welt pockets if it kills me. And I think it might. You know, it would be fun if anyone is still watching me. I won't be sad if you decided that you've had enough of watching me screw this up. But if you're still here, why don't you tell me what your big sewing technique nemesis is? Like, what's the thing in sewing that makes you a crazy person? Or not a crazy person, but like what makes you shake in your sewing boots if you have to sew it? All right, well, that fixed my problem. So let me go ahead and press this, and then we're going to top stitch the lower edge. Okay, let me see here. I am going to press this down like this. Okay, this little pocket is getting pressed down. Now I will say, taking the extra steps to use this silk, it will feel nice on the inside at least. Oh, Linda Lee says zippers. Yep. I agree. Zippers are another scary one. I can remember when zippers used to scare me too. Invisible zippers. I used to have my friend Marisa do all my invisible zippers for me in the very beginning when I first started sewing, because I was afraid to do them because I thought I would screw them up. Oh, Diane says sewing too fast. Quiet Girl says I'm watching. Jersey makes me sometimes crazy. Yeah, well, see, okay, so here, Bettina, that's a good point, because I'm working with a knit and I'm trying to do a welt, which has its own set of issues. I'm also a sewing too fast. Oh, the enjoyment of watching you is that you are real. Well, thank you. Oh, Tiana doesn't like to make gathers. Yeah. All right, so let's just look at this. This is the out of the two pockets that I've made, this is the one that I think is not as nice as the other one. So let's look at this one first. I haven't sewn up, let me make it a little bit lighter. I really want you to see. All right, so that's how it looks, right? This still has to get pressed down and sewn into place, which I will do after. But I think that that's going to be a nice looking welt. So I've got that. And then this one I think came out a little bit better, probably because it was a little less traumatized. But again, I think that this is going to be nice. So now let's, before we add the other pocket bag, what I'm going to do is I am going to lay all this flat. And I'm going to put it under here like this. And I am just going to sew. I probably could do this step later, but I just want to do it now. I'm just going to sew, and I'm going to make my stitch length a little bit longer, like almost 3. And I'm going to just stitch here, right next to the fold. And then I'm going to edge stitch along the bottom to hold the welt down, all those seam allowances. And we want to make sure this is laying nice and flat too, here. Then when I get to the corner, I'm going to go up this short side. I want to be a little bit closer, like that. So instead of going back and sewing those triangles down, I'm just sewing them here now. All right, so that tidies up the lower part of my pocket. See how tidy that is now? Oh, and my serger, when I start a seam, do not match, and I don't know why. Well is what you get when beaten. Oh my God, that's so funny, Tana. I feel beaten every time I try to make a well. Oh my goodness. All right, let me just stitch this down here. In the back of my head, I'm wondering if this is a mistake, but I'm going to just do it anyway. So part of my issue is, other than reading that article in Threads magazine about how Linda Lee makes her welt, I don't research other people's instructions when I do things. So a lot of times it takes me a minute to get around to the best way to do it because I'm left to my own imaginings here. I need a pair of tweezers. Ideally not these, but I just want to pick up these threads that are... Oh, all right, I'm just going to leave it. All right. All right. Okay, so now let's look and see what we have. I sewed down around the sides and the bottom, which I'm happy with. I'll pick out all that extra stitching there. Now I have to deal with the fact that this is still loose. So what I'm going to do is, let's look at the inside here. Okay, in my pocket. Oh, now we're too bright. Well, let me make me a little less bright here. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my second pocket and I'm going to stick it right here so it lines up around my edges like this. And I think what I'm going to do for right now is I am going to pin it across here with it lining up around the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm pinning it across my top. Oh, no. Nope. I'm going to pin it on my bottom. So I'm going to pin it here. I'm pinning through all the layers. I'm pinning through the shorts. I'm pinning through the pocket bags. I'm pinning through everything. I'm just going to put a bunch of... Which way am I going to... Yeah. All right. I'm just going to put some pins here. I don't want it to move below. All right. So all of that is going to stay nice like that. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to get my Wonder Tape. Okay, so I've been using this Wonder Tape, which I think we've talked about it last week. The Wonder Tape isn't as wonderful as it was because the formula changed, so sometimes it just does not stick like it used to. But it's still the best way to stick something without using pins when it needs to be exact. So I'm going to put the Wonder Tape right on the 1/4 inch seam allowance here. Like this. And then I'm going to see if I can peel the backing off. One of the reasons why I like Wonder Tape, even with it not being amazing for actually sticking to stuff, it washes away. So it doesn't add bulk to your project. But also, let me see if I can peel this away. Oh yes, okay. Okay, it is peeling away, which is nice. But it's also not sticking, so hopefully I can get it to stick. Okay, so I've got my Wonder Tape there. Then I'm going to put my pocket, I'm going to smooth my pocket back down like this. And basically I want to stick it on like this. So see, I'm sticking it to it under there like that. And see what it allows me to do is it allows me to pick it up so I can see exactly where that's going to lay. And then I'm just going to stitch it on. So again, all I'm stitching through here is the actual pocket bag and the seam allowance. That's it. And again, I'm going to try to stitch so it's just inside the line. Just want to make sure you can see. Because I don't want that line to show. Now, of course, I want to make sure I'm not catching anything else. All right, I stitched right onto the pocket bag. That's okay. See how I ran right off the edge there? That's okay. I just kept going. That doesn't hurt anything, I don't think. All right, now, look at how nice that holds that now. Remember, it was loose and floppy? Now look at it. I can tug on it and see how nice that is. So to finish up, well, let's do the other one. All right, I'm excited about this because that worked out really, really well. So I'm really happy with that step. Yay. Win for Jennifer. Jennifer won Welt I don't know, I got to give the Welt one, I guess, too, because it did mess me up. All right. So again, I am going to, oh, Bettina says, ta-da! Yay! All right, so again, I'm going to pin the pocket to make it match. So I'm making it match around the edges through everything so it does not move. And then the beauty of this is the top edge of these pocket bags are going to get caught here, which will be nice, I think. So I'm kind of excited about that too. Now, the fit of these shorts, I fit the waist so it fits around and it doesn't really gather up. Okay, you don't want to have a lot of gathers on your waist and then have a welt down here because it'll bunch up the welt. So if you're making a welt pocket on the back of shorts, make sure it's not, make sure it's not too close, too gathered at the back. All right, so again, I'm going to try to stick this on and take the paper backing off. And actually on this one, I lucked out because see, it's coming apart right there. So I'm literally just gonna get it from the middle. I'm gonna peel the backing away from the middle. Like that. Oh, okay, so you gotta stay stuck. I don't know why this is such a problem, child. Oops. Oh, good. I got the whole thing unstuck, and now it won't stick to my fabric. I love that. Let's just get it on there. I think once I get it with the silk, it'll fall down nice. All right, let's leave it like that. And then let's roll this back flat. Okay, so again, I'm pressing it on, making sure it's all nice and flat. I'm making sure this is squished up against the pocket, not like doing this, right? I'm making sure it's squished up against it. So when the lining sticks to it, it's right on top of the opening. All right, let's peek in there. All right, I think that looks good. I'm just gonna cut off this extra tape we do not need right there. All right, let's see if this one works as lovely as the first one. I'm hopeful I'll have two perfect tops. Okay, and again, I'm trying to stitch. Oh, that's not even stuck on. All right, that is not stuck on. All right, hold on. See, nothing is stuck there. That's going to be a disaster. Let me just make sure. Is that going to be right? This Wonder Tape is not wonderful. I'm just going to put a pin right here. All right. All right. Just going to try it. Hopefully nothing shifted too terribly. I put a pin on the other end to hold it. Okay. All right. I'm praying a little bit on this one. I hope this one works out. Bettina, I'm doing a, oh, see, this one did not, this one has the blue showing a little bit here, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I'm teaching a class for pattern review in July, and the name of the class is going to be Serger Troubleshooting 101. And that class will include things like how to prevent little boo-boos, like things like that. All right, let's see what happened here. I sewed this. This one did not come out as nice as the other one, but I'm going to see if I can press it into submission. It's a little bit, this one's not working like the other one. And I have a feeling it's because of the way it's stuck on, but I'm going to see if I can fix it by top stitching along here. All right, so now let me get my iron again. Oh, I want to tell you guys something. If you have these Aliso mats and you have the silicone tabs that join them together face up, when you're working, they get hot and you can burn yourself. So just be careful. If you have these on, make sure they're on the underside. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is Diane says, I have the same problem with my basting tape recently. I figured it was because it was several years old. Frustrating. It's not that it's old, Diane. This is a new one. I think they changed the formula of it, and it just does not work as well as it used to. Okay, you can clearly see I'm going to have to serge these edges because they're fraying already. But you can also see on the one that's not working as well, see how my bottom edges aren't matching anymore? I think that's probably has something to do with it. So something slipped on this one, but I'm going to see if I can just make it work. I really don't want to take it out. So I'm just going to press it here for a second. Then let's look at the right side so I can see. And I'm going to press this. And then I'm going to see if I can fix it. So I'm just pressing that flat. And then I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can fix this here. All right, so that's pressed. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to scooch that up with a pin. Right there. And I'm going to do it on the other side too. See, I think I'll be able to reconcile that one. I think I'll be able to fix it. All right, let's look at the one that did work out. See how on the one that it did work out, the bottom edge was matching and it stayed matching. So I think I shifted something when I did that second one. All right, so let me just see here. Yeah, see, this one looks good, even without any pressing. Oh, I need some more water in my iron. All right, here's what we're going to do. I am going to, first, I'm going to stitch right along the top edge. So I'm going to edge stitch right along the top of the pocket. And then I'm going to pull the corners up to finish it. I'll show you. So first I'm going to edge stitch right near the edge. And primarily I'm doing this to hold the seam allowance flat that's pressed up. Then I'm going to literally pull the top of the welt above the window ever so slightly, like this. And I'm just going to literally stitch it there just for like 1/4 of an inch or so. So I'm just literally tacked it up there, and I'm going to tack it up into this corner too. And actually I can just use this to make it go there. So working with knits, part of it is they stretch, so part of it is it might be harder to get the perfect result, but also if you have a boo-boo, you can make it bend to your will a little bit as well. Literally, I just want to catch like a little bit of it there. So see, now see how nice that looks? Francis says, if you baste on the right side, the welt close. If you baste on the right side, the welt close to the top of the pocket, it helps control the row of stitching you're struggling with now. Oh, well. Baste, if you baste on the right side. Baste on the right side. All right, well, I'll have to try that, Francis. All right, but I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's going to stay nice now. See? So all in all, I think I'm pretty pleased. So again, on this one, this is the one that worked out better. I'm going to just stitch along the top. And again, this stitching is just holding the seam allowance up that's in there. And then, just to keep it from I'm literally just going to stitch if I was feeling super fancy, I could switch to orange thread there and then it wouldn't be noticeable at all, but that'll just keep it from drooping down. Just going to scooch this down. Okay. All right, I mean, a little blue will show probably, but I don't think it'll be bad. But I'm pretty pleased with these pockets. So now I'm going to finish them, and basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to serge around the edges of this, you know, to finish these. I'll just true this up here, and I'm going to trim. Let's trim the welts shorter. We don't need the welts sticking out past the pocket bag. And the other thing we don't need having to happen is, did you guys know that if you apply heat to your interfacing, it'll come back off again? So like, I don't want the interfacing to show. either. So watch what I'm going to do. See, I'm just clipping all of this. So I don't need that. And then if I come back over here and I reheat up, I'm just heating up my interfacing right here. While it's warm, I can peel it off. See that? It comes off really easily, and then I can trim it so it doesn't show. So that's why I wasn't like super concerned with making sure my interfacing didn't show, because see, now it won't show. See? So if you heat up interfacing after it's been applied, it comes off really easy. Oh, Mary says she's used this technique to remove interfacing that bubbles on a shirt. That's another good reason to use this method. If you put it on and it doesn't adhere properly, or you get a ripple in your fabric or any of those things, you can heat it. And then, so see, now I've got this nice clean look here. See? So this top edge, just to remind you, is going to get folded here, right? So that's how it's going to look. So I'm pretty happy with the inside look of these, and I'm pretty happy with the way they came out after a fashion. But I'm not giving up on Welt. I'm going to become the Welt queen. You watch me. I'm going to make it my personal mission to have welts be like foolproof. All right, so now I've got a nice clean look inside my pocket bags. And I'm just going to finish them with a narrow 3-thread, which I'll do later. But I just wanted to thank you guys for... Oh, it was nasty interfacing in the first place. Yeah. Some interfacings are better than others. I really, really, really like my cotton fuse for 90% of the things I need interfacing for. All right, so let's see, what time is it? Oh, it's already 2:30, so I'm going to stop streaming here and I'm going to finish sewing these shorts. But I just want to tell you one thing I'm going to do here. There's my one welt. Here's my other welt. Okay, so I've got these nice welt pockets. I'm going to sew them traditionally. So basically I'm going to sew traditional seams, but then when I do the hem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hem it up, and then I'm going to cut the fold at the bottom so the orange peeks through at the hem. So it'll have a raw hem that's actually been finished, because I'm trying to think of, other ways I could make the orange show on the wrong side. So I'm going to hem them, but then I'm going to slit the fold so it'll be like a double folded raw edge. And I think that will be kind of cool, because if you look at this raw edge, let me just show you one more time up close. I think, if I had the double, like a double layer, let's put these two together. Let's pretend this is like this. Maybe I'll cut it so that I'll cut the fold so it's a little bit longer. The facings sticks down a little bit longer, and that way I'll just have a little pink of orange showing at the bottom, but it'll be hemmed. So there'll be a line of stitching here. So that's how I'm going to hem them. And then I'm going to do a drawstring, and I think I'm going to just make a drawstring from a bias piece of this fabric, because notice if I cut this on the bias, let's just try it. I'm just going to do this is just a scrap I have. It's not really long enough to be the actual thing, but basically, if I line this up and cut it on the bias, oops, like this. Okay, and then if I do, let's say I make it a 1/2 inch. Okay, I'll have a double-sided drawstring, and this knit does not roll, so you know, I think it does fray though. Maybe I'll have to do a double layer for a drawstring and sew it and then cut it so it's double layered maybe. I don't know, I'm going to play with the drawstring. I'm going to try to make a double-sided drawstring. But again, I think it might have to be 2 layers because see, that's already disintegrating. See how yucky that is? Now, if I cut it straight, let me see what happens if I cut it straight on the grain. I'm anticipating it'll do the same thing. All right, so this one's straight on the grain. Oh, this one's even worse. Look at, ugh, yuck. All right, so I'm going to work on figuring out how to do a drawstring. Maybe 2 layers, I don't know. But I'm going to try to do a drawstring that shows orange and blue. So we'll see. So those are going to be my peaks of orange in addition to having the orange welts. And yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will model these shorts when they're finished so you can see how they came out. Maybe I'll do vents on the sides near the hem. I don't know. I'll decide. But the bottom line is stitch close to the edges and it won't go far if it ravels. That's what I might do, Mary. I might do a double layer of fabric, stitch a 1/2 inch away, and then trim it just outside. And if it's double and if it's stitched, maybe that'll be okay. So we'll see. So I'm going to play with some things to do a drawstring. But I'm very excited for these shorts. I'm really trying to make myself some new things. It got a little nippy here today. You could do that drawstring on the serger. I could definitely do it on the serger. I don't want to make a tube though. If I don't have to, I'd rather, well, if I did a tube, I could tie a knot, cut it kitty corner, tie a knot, and maybe some orange would show on the end. I don't know. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do here. I'll figure it out and I'll share it with you next week, what my final answer was for this drawstring. But I am, you know, looking forward to making some new things. I'm wearing my lovely black long sleeve tee because it was like only 60 degrees out today, so it's a little cool. But it's going to be summer soon, so I want to make sure I have a bunch of cool, fun things to wear that are not black. So I'm trying to do my non-black things. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for hanging out with me today and living through my Welt pocket, mostly success. If you have any questions or comments, oh, not a tube. Oh, no, not a tube. So Leah, are you just saying serge the edges of the strip and then just leave it flat? I could do that. I could. I'm gonna play with it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. All right. Well, in any case, it says like a rolled stitch that would be close, that would enclose the raw edge. Oh, I'm gonna try that and see. It's a little thick for a rolled, but I don't know, maybe I can do a narrow 3-thread. I don't know, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna play with some things and see what I could come up with. You know, I just want it to be, I want the little details on these shorts to be special because it was nice fabric. I do have some red French terry. I'm going to make another pair of these shorts, just down and dirty, no pockets. So I have, you know, like a nice comfy pair that's just plain, that should go along with my organic cotton print ones that Diane Fetters and I both have the same. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. Questions or comments, please let me know. I will see you next week with a cool tool. I'll see you with a fit tip. My fit tip Tuesday is going to be explaining why If you have prominent shoulder blades and your armhole looks like it's got too much ease around the raw edge before you set in the sleeve, how to fix that. So I'm going to be updating my efficient workflow for bodice fitting on Tuesday to add the prominent shoulder blades. Oh, Linda says, thanks, Jen. I'm not ready to try that version. Bye. Oh, oh, Leah's like, sorry, work typing with glove on. Oh, that's okay. Oh, what did you say? Leah says, no needle on the left, 1/4 inch fabric, upper looper over top. No needle on the left. So you're doing a 1/4 inch fabric and lower looper over the top. All right. I'm going to try that, Leah. I'm going to try no needle on the left, 1/4 inch fabric and upper looper over the top. All right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try some different things, and then you can check in with me next Friday to see what I came up with. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week with a bunch of fun stuff. All right, bye.